Hello and welcome to Get Your Hands Off My Dogcast, episode 6. This is the podcast where we discuss films about dogs, or in this case, just films involving our dog. My name is Jamie.
My name's Oliver.
And my name, as usual, is Alistair.
Oliver sounding fairly despondent there.
I want to thank you for being here, I guess, because if I watched that movie alone, I don't imagine I'd be here today.
Well, it's,
but also, what circumstances would I have watched the movie alone? Ultimately, it's your fucking fault.
I blame Jamie single-handedly nominated
okay,
this,
all right, the film,
discovering
and
then
me.
forcing us to watch
all right,
it. So
okay.
god-awful excuse for a
Foodfight.
film.
Foodfight was the film we watched.
I guess what we're saying is it wasn't a very good film.
At all.
Not a lot of fun.
We haven't had a great streak. With
No, it's been going a little
last
bit
time
downhill
being Karate
recently,
Dog,
hasn't
this
it?
time Foodfight, not good.
I personally would quibble with anybody that even calls Food Fight a film. It was a poorly strung together.
Theoretically, it's a
Animation.
film. We watched it on a screen, but there's a reason it wasn't released to the cinema.
Yes, we will get into
We'll
this,
get
of
into
course.
the old checkered
Oliver,
history of this film.
First of all, as is customary, icebreaker.
let's fucking break
Take us
that
somewhere
shit.
light, Oliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get us out
Take
of
us
this
out of this
dark
pit.
pit of despair.
Yeah. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
That's a fairly
That's
classic
your
one.
standard old.
That's not very interesting.
My one that I've stood by
it's
for
classic.
years is I want time manipulation. I want about a
Lovely.
pause time, rewind time, fast forward time.
Okay.
Like Adam Sandler's remote and click. I want that.
Do you want the surrounding film to be your life?
No, I don't want anything else. I don't want to have to use the remote as well. I want to just be able to do it with my mind.
Around you.
So yeah, that's always been mine. I'd like to just pause time and wreak havoc.
I entirely
Rob a few banks, rob a few stores.
Yeah, pause would be my thing. Assuming that fast forwarding, rewinding isn't part of the deal because that's a bit much. But pausing.
Yeah, I could just take pauses.
Because with pausing, you've got all the benefits of teleporting. You know, people say teleportation's a great power, but I've always thought no. If you can freeze time, you can get anywhere you want. It
The only
takes a
problem
bit
is
of time.
how would you cross seas and stuff?
Yeah,
hijack a boat.
Yeah, it's true.
But
yeah,
time
You've
is frozen.
You've got all the time in the
I like to
world
think
to
that-
work out how to do it.
And also- I like to think
everything
that-
you interact with is going to work.
but it's just and also
okay,
you don't
but-
age as well. You stay like your body's in a form of
So
safe.
if
you don't get
revising
hungry
for
or
a
anything.
test though, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
You've got all the time you want, but so you've
Just
got
sleeping,
teleportation, but you've also got there's no time pressure on you at all, and you can rob a bank. You go in, take the money. I mean, they don't run banks like that anymore, but Gringotts.
Just anything you want. Just like you go to a store, like
just take it.
I could, I feel like buying a new computer. I want to buy a new phone, for instance.
Yeah, freezing time is
go in there and grab it.
objectively the best.
Sure,
and if Alistair has a different answer, I'll be
dastardly
furious.
thing, but
I mean, I was considering teleportation, but I'm swayed by your arguments. But I don't know, the whole crossing seas thing, like you say anything you interact with moves, but how far does that extend? Because say you can, use a boat, presumably that works, but then, I don't know, like...
What wouldn't?
What? Well, I don't know, like, is it a motorboat?
Yeah.
How are you going to sail a, international kind of vessel?
Just like a
Yeah, but you can't sail a motorboat to, like...
You can
South
work it out. You've got all
America.
the time to do
I
it.
can.
Read the menu.
You can now. The wheels
You've got
are
a lot
oyster
of,
house.
you've got a
The
lot of
time's
time to
paused.
practice it. You can't do it right now, but
And also,
you've got access
all
to
the sea.
anything.
I like to think the seas all sort of pause, so you just glide through as easily
Yeah, so
as you want to.
how would that work? Like,
I mean, well, none of this actually works, of course. This
No,
is-
but if it did,
I know, but I'm just kind
wish
of
it would.
pulling at the little
and
threads.
upon
of logic.
pausing everything, just the world in general is paused. The motion.
But if you want to
No, I
eat
get-
an
I
apple,
mean, I
it
get
will
that.
be eaten.
Yeah.
It won't just be nothing. And
No, I assume you can
if you
still
want to meddle with the
manipulate
person,
things.
if you're a deviant,
Okay,
that would work.
well, you took that
Ultimately,
to a weird
that's
place,
my
Oliver.
end goal. So that's the place we've got to take it to.
You
Definitely an interesting look into the
are
mind
a
of Oliver.
sexual pervert.
Not necessarily sexually.
If you didn't understand that, Oliver's
If you didn't understand, then I entirely forgive you because I'm eating a lovely banana.
is it? Now, something else that I found lovely was the film Foodfight, directed by Lawrence Kasanoff. I'll just provide a bit of background on this film, because it's kind of it's a fairly infamous film on the internet for being sort of the worst animated movie of all time. It's a project that began. Well, the inception was in 1999, and it really got into full swing in about the years 2002, 2003. And I've seen lots of things sort of online, people talking on Reddit and stuff, saying they recall when this film was announced and it was sort of going to be this crossover of many brand icons and everything. And it was going to be a Toy Story like set in a supermarket.
And at night, the supermarket comes to life and becomes a sort of city.
But basically what happened was in 2003, hard drives containing most of the assets for the film that was to be Foodfight was stolen. And what director Larry Kasanoff, my pal Larry, calls industrial espionage. And so basically they sort of had to start from scratch. They ended up employing various different animation methods. So, combining traditional cell-based animation with motion capture, resulting in a pretty terrible looking film. And basically just really struggled with distribution for years and years until finally they just got it out in 2012.
By which time most of the brands in it aren't actually real brands or are really obscure.
Now you may be thinking that doesn't really sound like a dog movie.
Yes.
And the plot isn't really impacted by a dog at all. But
well, it is. He's the hero.
The reason we thought it might be okay is because, as a dog film, is because the main character is very much a dog. His name is Dex, Dog Detective. He's voiced by Charlie Sheen.
It's not only departure from the dog movies we have, but if the definition of a dog movie is a movie that features a dog, then this fulfills it. So
he's definitely the main character.
I don't think we've gone too far outside. He is
like. He does. He does dog like.
He does
not really.
Dog. Well, he catches raisins.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that dogs love to do that. Oliver.
Dogs love a good raisin.
Yeah.
They just can't get enough of them. You try and stop a dog from eating a raisin, you can't.
I'm desperate to stop them. Yeah. He's got an interesting relationship with a woman who...
Should we go over the plot of the film?
Okay, we'll briefly...
Plot is a very broad and general term.
You were saying earlier on...
You were saying how it made a lot of sense.
Oh, okay, actually...
Bullshit.
It did, up until the end. So the basic plot is that...
Jesus.
Like, the supermarket kind of gets infiltrated and then taken over by...
Brand X,
who are essentially just Nazis, really.
Yeah, then that's not a stretch. They're visually...
I didn't really pick up on that. It's pretty subtle.
It's very heavy-handed Nazi...
There's just, like, eagles and crosses and... Like, straight up
the
Nazi
uniform is very...
And marching...
Very
stylish. Yeah. Okay.
Basically, they're Nazis, and then he kind...
they want to take over the supermarket and
kind of leads a resistance, and then there's like a battle scene which lasts for 20 minutes or so.
It's almost Return of the King-esque in how long it takes.
It's just, and then they somehow destroy all the Brand X things with lightning. Save the day.
That's not important. Basically,
nothing is important as such.
But basically, what Brand X wants is they've made some formula that they're going to make all the foods very addictive.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. And
they want to get rid of, what's the word they use to get rid of the inferior brands?
Undesirable.
To round up the undesirables and discontinue them.
They just want to make lots of money, I guess, by making
there's some
the customers
kind of weird
addicted to the
attempt
food.
to raise the stakes.
So they kidnap his girlfriend.
Like, everyone will die.
His girlfriend, by the way, is a normal human mostly, except for her cat ears and whisker.
She's
a furry.
I think she's just a fetishist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it seems to be.
So, one of those weird cat people.
Voiced by Hilary Duff.
Well, yeah, she's a human
in her prime,
having sex with a dog. So
make of that what you will.
This film does not care about boundaries, social. It's just going for it.
There are quite a few quite sexual jokes in it. Like, there were definite overtones of quite raunchy humour. Like,
the villain is a woman who is
voiced by Eva Longoria.
Yeah, she's the main villain, and she's sort of a sexy woman who's the sort of some sort of love interest for the main guy when his lover goes away. They do an interesting tango.
There's a bit of sexual tension.
And there's a lot of sort of sexual close-ups on her terribly animated cartoon crotch, which didn't do a lot for me, to be sure. But there was some sort of sexual.
Oliver, and that's all that mattered.
That is all that matters.
So that was I mean, there's not really much to go into with the plot. To be honest, this film is a real fucking abomination. I feel quite bad that I've made us all watch this.
I feel bad that you've made us watch it as well, Jamie.
No, to be honest though, I was more engaged with this than I was Karate Dog.
I was not. This film made me fucking furious.
No, but
I hated it. The animation literally just was sickening to look at.
It was pretty
fucking
awful.
Disgusting. There's this weasel who looks like he's made out of some kind of weird shiny marmite.
Yeah.
And he just kind of
Cheezel T Weasel.
follows absolutely no sort of kind of physical limits. He just strolls around with enormous thighs.
He employs the animation technique of squash and stretch.
I don't care what he employs. He's a piece of shit, and I hated him.
Okay, all right. Jeez, tell us how you really feel. So yeah, what else should we discuss about this film?
Everything.
What do we go into?
Let's just get it out. Let's just anything on our minds.
What do we usually do? How does this podcast usually
We usually go through the plot, and there's not a lot of that, and then we go through the characters, and in this case, again, what the fuck's the point of that?
Okay, well the main character.
What about that weird lizard skin guy?
No, to be fair, there were a couple of standout characters. Not everyone was terrible. There's this one dude who inexplicably, he's like the Nazi lieutenant. He inexplicably has like lizard skin.
Yeah.
I guess just to make him look more evil. And he speaks quite like Alan Rickman as Snape.
Very Alan Rickman.
Like, oh, I don't like this very much.
Yeah, he's like, just I've worked myself.
Yeah.
And I quite like it. That's a line from the movie.
His last scene.
After he's just been impaled.
And realising that he loves urine in him.
Oh, God.
So he was kind of fun in a weird way.
There was a sort of bat guy.
Yeah.
A very lecherous bat. He's apparently a homosexual and hits on the kind of sidekick.
Yeah.
Some sort of...
It's something. It's like a play on like it's kind of like a Count Chocula thing. His name's something like Chocula something.
I think his jokes were the most successful, if only because of how many he did. Like everything he says is like a string of 5 jokes that are sort of related to the last one. And
the delivery comes across as sort of improvised and
definitely.
Yeah. I think sort of building upon his last line and just weirdly developing it.
Definitely greatly benefits for not being written by Casanov.
He is voiced by the guy who played the hairdresser in The Princess Diaries. So there you go, folks. Just to let you know
he's gone to do great things.
The canon of talent we've got aboard this film.
That was
it's actually
really
something I
catapult to stardom.
think we should discuss. This film's actually got pretty big stars attached to it. I think.
Quite fucking weird. The main, not the main villain.
You think he's the main villain, and he's in 3
he's kind of set up to be a villain, then he doesn't appear again until the end.
Mr. Clipboard is his name.
Is it?
Is that his name?
I found that on IMDb.
That's not.
Oh, it might be Dog. I can't remember. It's something Clipboard.
Very
played by bloody
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
I was going to say Christopher Brown, but that's
not accurate.
a musician with a checkered past.
Right. Okay. No, Christopher
Chris
Lloyd.
Brown
Back to the Future. Oh, yeah, Chris Brown.
Yeah. Well, his full name is presumably Chris.
Yeah, I assume so. It might not be.
I have not asked him.
No, I haven't been in touch with him recently.
All right,
We'll tweet him.
Yeah.
Ask if his full name. Yeah, but no, it's got Hilary Duff, obviously,
Lloyd.
Charlie Sheen before he, got HIV and went insane.
Before he had tiger blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they all did their voice work in 2005, I think, is what we managed to find out on the internet.
So back in his peak days, when he was on 2.5
Men was in its prime.
Riddled with HIV.
Hilary Duff was around Raise Your Voice timing, I think you'll find, folks.
That? I don't follow her career.
It's a delightful movie about a girl who sings.
Oh.
I can't remember.
Sounds like a good plot.
Much else. That might have been 2004, actually. I don't know. It was a while ago.
And it's because it's called Raise Your Voice and it's about singing. Yeah. So that's pretty good synergy there.
Yeah,
with
she
the
goes to
title
like
and the
Juilliard or something, I think, and sing. Like, I can't remember a whole lot about it, to be perfectly honest with you. But I digress. Who else is in the movie? There's an old man. The old man who owns the store is voiced by Ed Asner, who is the voice of Carl Fredricksen in the Pixar film Up. So there's a bit of star-studded talent for you there.
We've got a bit of crossover between dog movies. We've got Air Bud 2, the actor who played Coach Finale. He played He played
a moose.
A sort of restaurateur moose who's sort of in the club.
It was another gorgeous example of an Italian-American stereotype. This movie was actually very racist in terms of the way it portrayed race.
What about
You've got like
the Chinese
dragon who runs...
What's the name of
Kung
that? It's a hilarious
Tofu.
joke.
Yeah, Kung Tofu.
Yeah.
Is just enormously... He's very much like a racist character of an Asian man.
Yeah, I don't think this film really cares.
I don't think we need to do the voice now, but certainly a
I'm
sort of
sure
stereotypical accent.
I will not be doing the
You can probably imagine that for yourselves. Let's not delve too deeply into that.
Speaking of Kung Tofu, though, lots of puns in the opening scene.
Yes, there was one that I loved that I've forgotten.
Requiem for a whipped cream.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best one.
That was the best joke in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a little subtle thing that the animators chucked in to divert them away from the horror that was going on in the rest of the film that they had to
Speaking of
deal with.
Actually, I don't know what I was going to say. Speaking of
Speaking of...
Should we go
Oh,
over
yeah.
Well,
Should we say, like, our favourite moments, maybe?
highlights from the film?
A highlight?
Oliver, did you actually have a highlight? Because you were really suffering during this.
that final battle, I was not in a good place.
Oliver was furious.
Shall we... I'm struggling, so if one of you has one,
I
come
had
and
one,
save
now
me.
I forgot.
I had one as well. It was a really small thing.
Shit. It was a line.
write
So do I.
I've got one.
Okay.
This isn't, but this is dumb. Well, the whole film is dumb. But it's when Dex and whoever Evangelia's character is, they're doing this sort of weird tango scene. This isn't the favourite part, but they're sort of, as they're tangoing around, they're in the villain's office, her office, and they're just smashing everything in her office. And
Can I just jump in? Because that scene really confused me, because I think it was meant to be like, they're like subtly trying to injure each other, like like James Bond or something, when they're dancing around and like she's trying to like knock him into knives or something, and he keeps subtly avoiding him. But it's nothing like that, because the first time is she like kicks up a big thing of weapons and they land around them, so I get that. But the next one is she just like kicks a fish tank, and then knocks over a bird cage.
Okay, so the fish tank and the bird cage. It's actually sort of two standout moments, I guess, but both within the same context. So the first one, it's just reactionary, all background details. When they kick open the fish tank, in one of the next shots you see a little fish, it's rowing a boat out of frame as a means of escape, and I thought that was quite good visual gag. And then another part is they kick over a bird cage and all the birds fly out, and there's sort of an ADR line where one of the birds goes, "Aim for the hair!" But then none of them, the next scene, they're just gone. So, clearly no one listened to this bird, and I think that would have been a more interesting movie.
If they aimed for the hair.
No, if the movie followed a group of birds and no one listens to this one bird.
This is interesting. As he tries to seize control.
I'm going to hit up Larry Kasanoff for a potential spin-off.
Big group.
Okay, Alistair, do you have what's your favourite?
I don't know. I did enjoy the work of that bat and his kind of general hitting on the squirrel.
Yeah. He was very fascinated with the fact that he was chocolate.
Yeah,
He was like,
and he just really seemed to want to molest him a lot.
Okay.
But I'd say probably a standout moment was the very last, well, not quite the last lines of the film, but like the final wedding scene.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of suddenly revealed that Rex is it Dex or Rex? Yeah, Dex like stamps on a milk, and then his side milk. Some of the friends. Yeah, it's milk.
That's what they serve in the Copa Banana. They serve milk.
Yeah, and then one of his friends is like, "Wait, he's Jewish?" And then his psycho's like, "Oh yeah, he's kosher." And then the film just ends.
Yeah, it's a play on the sort of crushing the wine glass tradition that Jewish.
But it just kind of it seems like a really odd.
Yeah, it's a very odd note to end the film on.
Yeah,
shock reveal.
Oliver looked at me and
I guess that kind of ties into the whole Nazi World War II kind of
I got it.
analogy of the film.
I was just going to say that Oliver glanced at me with a look of terror before, because he's really struggling, I think, to think of a stand.
Nah, okay. Look, I'm not going to find one, but I know that there was something about 20 minutes before the end, just some really small detail, but what's it?
Oh, we can wind it back and watch it again if you like, Oliver.
Please, God, no.
No, I don't know.
No? Nothing you like about this movie?
No.
Any particular one scene or moment that you really, really hated? Anything that
probably.
There were many.
I know the whole film was just awful.
Look, the worst stuff was towards the end, that battle sequence.
Oh, Christ.
It was various. sort of these lines of identical enemy troops lining up and getting some sort of food stuff and firing it and then exploding into the good guys and some of them
except it does make
die, but there are no dramatic consequences, and then you move on to them shooting some more weapons. It's just this endless menagerie of here's some whipped cream for them to shoot. Brilliant.
There's no
Intercut.
correlation at all between the food they fire and like what happens. Like they
Just various different coloured explosions.
basically, and the colour doesn't even actually fucking correlate. Like they throw a watermelon down and
No, that was red. That worked.
Okay,
That
it's like
example, you
vaguely
piece
red,
of
but-
shit. Watermelons are red on the inside.
Oh, God. Should we talk about something else? This fucking film.
how's your day been?
My day's been great. I've been at work this morning.
Really?
Yep.
Good. That doesn't sound great, but you can.
No, it was alright. I was rolling some ice creams.
I've been in my room most of the day, staring into the void.
How'd that go?
Not metaphorically. There's a literal void in my room, which was a fucking nightmare to install. the bloody workman just knocked a hole in the wall originally,
God.
and I was, there's a lack of wall now, but what I need is proper nothingness. So I've got that up and running. So that's been a good day for me.
Alistair, what about you? What have you been up to?
I went to a death metal concert last night and that was a lot of fun.
Well, that's not today. So
Well,
I
okay,
did not
it
wish to
was
hear. No,
actually
that's all right.
carried on early into today, so
Jesus.
you
Oh,
can
shit.
fuck yourself.
What were they called?
Oh, they were called Guardians of Asgard. They're an Monomath tribute band.
Oh my god.
Ah,
I'm
sweet.
sure all our listeners will be familiar with their particular brand of...
Well, oh, there we go.
There we go.
Freudian
That's all the
slip there.
review you need there.
Fairly bland. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah,
If you're into that kind of thing.
I am.
Good.
I'm not particularly, but I would have preferred to if I had an option between going to that and watching what we did. But, we're over it now.
Yeah.
I think my least favourite bit of the film was any parts of it that included the weasel, but especially the bit...
Yeah.
He goes and, cuts a pole... Like a power pole, and for
Polish
some
man.
reason this triggers a lightning.
He just cuts it.
Polish, man.
There's a Polish shopper and he just cuts his throat. It's really incongruous.
It was a very kind of grim departure.
Yeah. So what
sorry.
were you saying, Alistair? We really
Oh,
interrupted.
just the fact that the whole ending is so pants on heads retarded. They just start. You see them. This kind of weird montage of them putting up foil.
Yeah, that didn't
Things
make
on
sense
top
at
of
all.
their roofs.
Oh,
which
yeah.
They all have personalised ones, like the little penguin puts up. I think he puts a chimney place because Christmas, presumably.
Oh, God knows.
Even though
that
penguins don't
penguin.
live in the Arctic, which is where Father Christmas lives. But anyway,
No, it isn't. Wait, oh, yeah, it is.
fucking moron.
Father Christmas lives in the North Pole.
Yeah, my fury there was unnecessary, but I do not repent.
Check yourself, Oliver.
No.
You're lashing out at your
That's
friends.
entirely.
We're the ones here for you, mate.
I don't care anymore. I know that it's wrong, but that's.
Oh, you should care.
Yeah, so that.
Anyway, yeah, and then for some reason cutting down a singular power pole triggers a lightning storm which destroys all non-allied buildings.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of not set up at all. It just happens.
Guys, I thought of another thing I hate. That character who's a bald man with a massive nose that's red all the time.
Oh, fuck.
And at one point, he sort of this snot bursts from his nose onto the other characters, and
Yeah.
he's just this sort of panicking little shit.
His head is
You
basically...
can't do anything without running around in a circle. I don't know what to
Oh, and he
do.
had real fucking weird legs as well. They kind of splay out to the side. They look like they've got no bones in.
His head is basically an entire nose.
Even before the crisis starts, he's just panicking about everything that's going on. He can't get a.
His performance reminds me a lot of Winona Ryder in the hit Netflix series Stranger Things. Because I found Winona Ryder's performance in that show to be fairly one note. I love the show overall. It's great. But she's just sort of constantly frazzled and freaking out. I mean, admittedly, that's fine. Her son has gone missing. And that's sort of the same with this nose character. He's just sort of constantly freaking out. And it's just
Jamie,
really hard to listen to.
Frankly, I'm glad that any character in this film had even one note, because many of them had zero notes.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen is just in a monotone the entire
He just
time.
doesn't... He's a completely bland character.
I feel like Wayne Brady was...
I hated him.
Okay.
And I hated even more than that
Wayne
was
Brady
fucking
is...
Hilary
what was his
Duff's
name?
character.
Danger Dan.
She's just a real piece of shit. And At one point, Dex is trying to propose to her, and she's just like, "Oh, no, I'm just gonna go off and like see if your best friend's alright from his plane crash."
Which he is.
He clearly is.
Because he constantly crashes. Because the thing about Wayne Brady.
Oh wait, no, I remembered a better highlight.
Oh yeah,
It's the bit. He's about to crash into his.
This is a little squirrel character.
A little squirrel who's like a kind of daredevil type character.
Yeah, Daredevil
like he
bear.
flies around in his plane, and he's really shit at it, so he often crashes. And he's like, in such a crash, like hurriedly pulls out this book entitled "Learn to Fly." And then
That was good.
he proceeds to crash, but that little bit, slightly amused me. I thought as a visual gag it worked.
That same guy in the final battle, he pulls out another book about like Zen meditation or something. He's just doing all this random shit in his plane.
Yeah, that was
gives an
fucking
indication
odd.
of perhaps why he crashes so often. If he paid some bloody attention, he's in this climactic battle and he's doing all this. He's having a bath,
That was really
washing
weird.
himself in his plane. If
Oh,
you just
God,
maybe
that
focus on the
pissed me
airways and get your job done,
Just
you won't
fuck
crash.
this
so
movie doesn't
bloody much.
deserve any more of our time. Fuck it.
It does.
No.
I enjoyed his arc because literally an arc because the plane goes around. Yeah, because in the start he doesn't know how to do a loop-de-loop, and then in the end he manages it. So that's the sort of the most character progression we've
Good
got.
job, Larry Kasanoff. You've outdone yourself. Yeah.
He's got a job.
Fuck
He
it.
spent 13 years on this, and I think that's worthwhile. That's all he did for 13 years.
Oh my
get this,
God.
Yeah, can you imagine if
sort this espionage out.
Can you imagine if this was what came of 13 years of effort?
I think I
Oh
would
shit.
very probably kill myself.
Yeah. Well, we don't know the fate of
pretty
old
good tale.
Lazar.
As we like to call him here in the studio.
What a great studio it is.
Something else I didn't like. I mean, that doesn't.
No, you don't,
I didn't like
you
anything.
don't need to go on.
I'd like to return to ranting about Hilary Duff's character, if that's
Go on.
alright.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, she's just fucking
cathartic, I
insufferable.
feel.
She's got no personality whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just kind of fucks around being an obnoxious furry.
She's barely in it, to be fair.
No,
She's
I
in
know,
the first
but
4 minutes and bizarrely absent
she's just-
until the very end.
obscenely bland. I mean, I thought we kind of reached the pinnacle of blandness with Jamie Presley in Karate Dog last week. Whose
Reach new
only
lows.
purpose was to kind of occasionally pull up in a squad car and flirt with whatever the fuck the main character was.
We never worked that one out.
But oh god, this woman was a lot worse.
Yeah,
Hilary Duff ought to be ashamed.
I'm ashamed
I'm
of
sure
the
she
underuse of old Christopher Lloyd because that character is. I mean, the saddest, most emotionally affecting scene of the movie is in which that bad guy played by him is walking through the supermarket being all intimidating to the boss, and he steps on a packet of chips.
And what does the boss say?
Can't remember.
That was a perfectly good bag of chips.
As he cradles it, a single
Yeah.
tear in his eye,
Yeah, that's-
looking like he just lost a child.
That's not a joke.
That's
That's what transpires in the film.
And it's genuinely the most affecting moment. He's really, really put out by these chips being destroyed.
Oh, I hated the old man as well. He's
I quite
What?
like him.
No, the old man was
He's sort
good.
of a hapless.
I hate him. He was just a fucking piece of shit.
He's also barely in it.
This movie's really been.
I can't really hate any of them.
Let's
I
say-
hate what's
let's
going on
say-
around
I hate
it.
all of
Not
them
this movie is
in
tearing us
counterpoint.
apart.
This movie is great.
I'm calling it there. It's over. It's over.
No.
Food fight. No, food
Hey.
fight. What?
I want to talk about it forever.
No. No.
got a lot more to
no,
say, Jamie.
no, we do not.
We've got-
No one wants to hear more about this film. It is a cancer on our lives.
I would actually be quite glad to get it over with, so I'd never have to think about it again.
Good. It's over. We're not talking about it anymore. Food fight's done. I wanted to touch on something in my weekly Chronicles of Tim Allen.
Oh no.
Found out Oliver last week said, "Oh, does he have a Twitter account?" He does. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of sort of personal stuff coming from him. I suspect that it's actually run by a publicist
Just
or
about his
something.
latest projects. And things.
Yeah. It's
That's
mostly just like, hey
disappointing.
guys, tune in to Last Man Standing on
I guess
ABC
when you're at
tonight.
such a level of fame, you can't really make an account.
Yes.
People sort
Speaking of which, finally heard something, guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you-
Not from Tim Allen himself, from a team of lawyers.
Oh.
It's not looking good for me, guys. I'm probably going to go to the clink.
Oh, well, you deserve
I've sent pretty horrible things to him.
Yeah.
And sent some body parts as well. And it's not looking good from my end.
it. Clippings of hair and skin and...
Yeah,
Nails.
all that sort of stuff. Tim,
Emailing
I understand from what I've been
clippings.
told by the lawyers, was not particularly pleased with that.
It was a bit of a risk sending them, because not only
Yeah.
did you kind of risk incurring his wrath or disgust, but he's also got prime ingredients to make a voodoo doll of you.
That's true. So
And Tim Allen is a known practitioner of dark arts.
he did spend a lot of time in New Orleans, so he's got that going for
The
him.
approach you've taken is very odd, though, because I hear that Tim Allen actually sends emails to most people. He sent one to me last week offering to do some gardening.
That's a bullshit lie.
nice
It's a
guy.
bullshit lie.
No.
You've never talked to Tim. I'd know.
Half-price gardening. He won't
Tim's a
trim
busy
the
man.
hedges, but he will just do all the grass.
Tim's got a hit
and
show on
that's all I
ABC.
need.
He's
I don't
not
have
going to
any
be doing
hedges.
your gardening, Oliver.
Well, he is.
How
He's
dare
coming,
you?
He's coming around on Thursday, and he's expressly said not
That's a
not
fucking
to leave.
lie.
Well, we'll see. And we'll see if you're in prison next week, and I think you will be. But if
Well,
you're not...
the court date's not till next month, so I won't be in prison next week. I'll be here for a
You
few
might
more.
for your other things.
Be here.
There's a lot they're after you for. Every week it's a lottery
I
as
must
to whether
admit,
you're
I've been
in the clink.
I've been tailed a few times. I was tailed on the way here today, actually, guys. Luckily, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, a few diversions.
That is good, but it's also hugely inconsiderate of you to lead them to our house.
Oh god.
Oh, there we go.
Oh god, they're coming up the drive. Oh,
Okay,
fuck.
quickly, Jamie, before they haul you
Oh
off
shit. Okay.
and
Quick-
quite deservedly lock you away
Oh,
forever.
God. Oh, shit,
what
they're coming to
film
the
will
door.
we be watching next week?
No, it's not me. It's Oliver's choosing.
Is
oh
it?
shit.
Oh.
It is.
Oliver, choose the film quick. They're at the door. Don't laugh about this.
Okay. We're going to be watching the 1996 version of 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, is that
classic.
the live action or animated one?
It is the live action.
Oh,
a Glenn Close.
And another animated one. And it's the highest rated one on IMDb. Better than any.
What's it got?
Theoretically, 5 point. Maybe 6 point something.
Oh, not bad at all.
And I don't think we've got anything over 5. Maybe Airbud managed to
I
just
think Airbud's
just scrape a 5.1. But theoretically, okay,
shit.
we're gonna close this fucking shit
okay.
down, Jamie.
No. Oh god, I'm too young to go to jail. I drop soap all the time. All right. Yeah. Get your hands off my Dogcast. We'll see you next time.
Off.